Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into a topic that's shaping modern society in ways we're still trying to understand: the political influence of social media influencers.
Yes, we're talking about whether a TikTok star, a YouTuber, or even someone who streams video games can impact how people think about politics, social issues, or even voting. Spoiler alert, they absolutely can.
10 or 15 years ago, politics was mostly shaped by news channels, newspapers, and politicians themselves. Now, a creator with a ring light and a phone might influence more young voters than a televised debate. So today we ask, do influencers shape political opinions? And if they do, is that good for democracy, or is it something we should worry about? Let's start simple. What is an influencer? It's not just someone with followers. It's someone people trust, someone whose opinion feels personal.
Exactly. It's not unusual for followers to say they feel like they know the influencer. They watch their morning routines, their pet videos, their daily thoughts. It feels intimate.
Compare that to politicians in suits speaking at podiums. Influencers feel like friends. Politicians don't.
So when an influencer casually says, "This policy worries me," or "You should care about this bill," it doesn't sound like an order. It sounds like advice from a friend.
That emotional connection is what gives influencers real power, even beyond entertainment. Lately, we're seeing more influencers using their platforms to talk about things like climate change, women's rights, income inequality, global conflicts, big topics.
And they do it in formats people actually want to watch. Quick, visual, emotional. A reel or TikTok can break down a complicated issue faster than a newspaper article.
Look at how environmental activism went global through social media, or how humanitarian campaigns spread with shared posts. One voice can go worldwide in minutes.
It's powerful. Young audiences who never watch the news are suddenly discussing human rights or elections.
Accessible, fast, relatable. Influencers have made politics feel less like homework and more like conversation.
But simplified content can also mean simplified facts, and that's a double-edged sword.
Let's talk about voting. Research shows young voters respond strongly to influencers who encourage participation, not necessarily telling them how to vote, but encouraging them to vote.
During elections in multiple countries, influencers directly encouraged followers to register, and thousands did. Some had more impact than televised campaigns.
There was even a beauty influencer who asked, "Should I talk about makeup today or talk about voting?" And millions chose voting. That says everything about where influence is shifting.
But here's where opinions split. Should influencers openly endorse candidates or parties? Some say it's free speech. Others say it's risky because influence isn't always informed.
People might vote a certain way not because they researched, but because they admire someone's style, humor, or personality.
Which raises a real concern. Are voters making decisions or being guided into them?
Influencers also play a huge role in activism. Hashtags like #MeToo, Black Lives Matter, and Climate Strike gained momentum because ordinary users and influencers amplified them.
Social media turned private struggles into global conversations. A local story can be shared across continents in a day.
People donate, protest, sign petitions, all triggered by a creator using their voice.
It shows how digital influence can move real-world action. Good action, powerful action.
And once a narrative goes viral, correcting it can be almost impossible. We need to talk about the darker side. Misinformation, conspiracy, blind trust. Some influencers make bold claims without evidence, and their followers believe it instantly.
Because the relationship feels personal. They're not seen as strangers. They're seen as friends, even role models.
And algorithms don't help. They show us more content we agree with, more of what we already think. We stop seeing other perspectives.
That creates echo chambers, digital bubbles where everyone thinks the same. And if an influencer inside that bubble spreads false information, it spreads fast.
Influence is powerful, but power without accuracy is dangerous. So, what's the response so far?
Platforms now add political labels, fact-check banners, sometimes even remove harmful content.
Schools and educators are teaching media literacy, teaching people how to check sources, challenge narratives, and think critically.
Governments are slowly paying attention too. They know influence can swing elections, and they're trying to understand it before it grows even bigger.
We're entering a future where influence equals power, and power without responsibility could change society rapidly. So yes, after everything we unpacked today, social media influencers undeniably shape political opinion. They don't just entertain anymore. They raise awareness. They spark movements. They bring attention to things many people might never have noticed otherwise.
They motivate people to register, to vote, to protest, to donate. They make politics feel personal and reachable, not distant and complicated. In many ways, they make the world move.
But that power is a double-edged sword, because influence spreads quickly, faster than facts, faster than context, sometimes even faster than truth. And when something travels that fast, it leaves little room for reflection.
We live in a time where emotions often spread faster than information. A creator who speaks confidently may sound more convincing than a journalist who speaks carefully. A dramatic video can outweigh a detailed report. A simple statement can overshadow a complex reality.
And none of that means influencers are bad, but it does mean influence needs balance. Attention needs awareness. Belief needs questioning. We can't afford to let the internet think for us. Not anymore. Not when one post can shape a generation's opinion on an election, a protest, a crisis, a movement. Not when one voice can feel like the truth simply because it's loud, emotional, or beautifully edited. So we have to slow down sometimes. Pause. Take a breath between swipe and belief, between feeling and conclusion.
We can enjoy content while still asking why, how, and what else might be true. We can admire influencers without handing over our entire perspective.
Because influence itself isn't moral. It's neutral. It's a tool. It's power in the hands of whoever holds attention.
And we, the audience, are the ones who give that attention. We decide who grows, who trends, who leads discussions. Our follows, our likes, our time. That's the fuel behind influence. We are not powerless observers. We are participants.
Which means we also carry responsibility to think, to verify, to listen widely, not just loudly.
Follow creators. Learn from them. Laugh with them. Get inspired. But keep your agency. Keep your voice. Don't let someone else do your thinking for you, no matter how charismatic, relatable, or famous they are.
If today made you reflect even a little, if it sparked a question or challenged a belief, then this conversation already did its job. Not to decide your opinion for you, but to encourage you to build it yourself.
And maybe that's the real power. Not influencers telling us what to think, but conversations like this reminding us that our minds still belong to us. Scroll less automatically. Think more intentionally. Influence can shape you, but you choose what shapes your influence.
Thank you for spending this time with us, truly. If this discussion opened your perspective, consider sharing it with someone else who might enjoy thinking about it too. Not to convince them, but to continue the dialogue.
We'll be back again soon with another topic worth exploring deeply. Something that makes us question, analyze, and look at the world with clearer eyes.
Until then, stay curious, stay aware, stay thoughtful.